Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. Welcome back to Granger Heartland, and this likely looks familiar. So I've been doing some reading in between, just checking things out, and it looks like there's a general group of people that seem to have gotten farther on this scenario that I had trouble with the other day, but there may still be some problems at the end again, so I'm giving it another go. So you've seen everything up until this point in the previous video, where I then started fumbling around, so oops. Okay, let's give this a stop. I wasn't planning on stopping quite this far away, but I think if I connect slower, it may be a good thing. So I'm going to take a peek here, but I'm going to basically try to connect at like 0.3 or 0.2, because that's what I've heard from reading things, is that people were like, well, if I connect a lot slower, then it works fine. Now the problem with doing that is obviously I've got to go a lot slower. So let's see, 0.2. Alright, Miller siding. Now we want to go the other way. So at this point we do have a check mark there. And now we need to pull the train clear, moving up to speed that I finally can, but I've got a pretty long train that I need to get past this entire point, which really is a point that I'm not even to yet with my first locomotive. I'm finally going through it about now, so basically the back end of the train has to at least get past this signal, which I think is going to be off the monitor anyway. But what we weren't getting was then the switch of that. Well, we weren't getting the fact that I had done this, so obviously the switch of the track was not happening. So, let's see. Alright, so you can see where I'm at, and it's basically this area here. Getting really close, so at this point, by the time it stops, as we've seen, it takes quite a long time for it to actually engage. Okay, what is happening? Why is it taking that long to finally get the brakes moving? Not sure. But yes, well past where I need to be, but you can see it already has changed. So this is a good sign. Whoops, I already had turned that around. So let me face back this way. Obviously once it releases, we'll be able to start moving. And once again, we've got a 15-mile-an-hour limit through pretty much most of this, I would think. So it's just a lot of back and forth, back and forth. Now the thing I do need to verify, however, is where is this? I think I need to go here and here, and that puts me on 765 to get the 3 bay hoppers. We'll see what things look like when we see it here on the map, hopefully. Although I don't know that I'd call this the map. Okay, 765 is appearing. So we are all set there. So further than we've gotten before, but I'm anticipating I'm going to go through this effort and not get the reward I like, which is points in a completed scenario marker in the end, because that I've not seen anyone say has happened. So it looks like there's definitely a bug that you can't get past in that space, in that people say they finish the scenario with 1,000 points, but end up on the menu with 0. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that car is the one. So pretty much once I get a good amount onto, you know, probably half or so onto the siding. So we've got 2. I'm only going 12 though, so I do have to be careful. So 4, 5. I'm going to go ahead and start now. Because, yeah, at this point, in theory, I'm already where I need to be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, yeah, we're fine here. So, we've got the train onto that. Just take a peek here. So we've got a good amount onto 765. Now we need to turn around, and I need 8 3-bay hoppers. So let me scroll to the back of the train. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in between here. Alright, next the rest of the closed hopper cars. Alright, so some issues I've seen before are things recoupling in getting a operational error. Just like that. So you can see here it's given us an invalid consist. But what I've been doing is I've been saving at the points just before I decouple. So let me do this. Get that again. And then we'll try to speed this up, I guess, even more than I had. And hopefully then that will... What? Wow. Alright, so we're disconnected here. Alright, so it looks like I did get what I needed at this point, which is good. So now we need to go forward to Miller Approach. So we are moving through the pieces here. Just want to be careful that I don't now create any kind of point loss, although again it may not matter given what I've heard from folks. So alright, so I think we're gonna come up here and then turn a bit. We're gonna have to go past Miller Approach a bit. Well, actually, we theoretically could turn at this point, but I don't think we get credit unless we go up there and stop, so I don't want to have the situation where things aren't working as I'd like. So we'll stop here. So you can see we're going to be on Miller Approach. Now I need to go to 767, which is the second one over. So that one needs to be there, that one needs to be there, and that one needs to change there. So we're at the second one over. It's been waiting here, which is what we want. Now we're on Miller Siding, so you can see we're on step 6. Turn back here. And as the brakes drop off, we'll get moving again. Now this is less problematic here, because I'm not disconnecting from anything. But once again, we're going to want to see 767 appear. Hopefully sooner rather than later, just so I know that all is well. But it's telling me about half a mile. There we go. Alright, so a quarter mile till the back, but I need the rest of the copper cars, so let's see. So there's tank cars there. So I just need to, I think, hold 7 cars, because I think there's 4 of these center beam cars and then 3 tank cars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So everything behind that is going to get dropped onto 767, I believe, is what we're looking at. Speed up a bit here. So now I don't have as long a siding, partially because I'm on the train, or the train is, the consist is shorter to begin with. Although, I've got to be careful that I don't slow down too fast. Alright, hopefully that is what I want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yes, just exactly where I need to be. I'm going to do this the opposite way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to drop it here. The 3 tank cars go a bit further away in siding 756. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Let this get up to speed. So you can see it's, you know, showing us the linkage there. We can see it's uncoupled. We're fully up to speed as far as the power on the engine, and hopefully we see the same nice pull away. Ah! See, so there's a little problem. Alright, so I pulled away with much more power than I had. So you can see the other trains that we saw coming around before. There were trains passing before, but I was kind of dancing around. So we have to go back here to Miller Approach. So step 7. And we're going to have one more trip back here. So we'll see this guy It's going to be long gone from where we need to be. And we're a much shorter train now, because we've left, what, 8 cars and then everything but 7. I don't know. I think there were more behind there, so another 8 or 9, so approaching 20 cars for sure. Once again, we'd be more than far enough here, but to get the points, I think we have to be in that space or not lose the points for some other kind of operational error. Probably could have started before this, because it's going to take a lot longer than that to get myself going. So try to just do kind of a rolling reverse there. Whoops, actually I forgot. So if there's one thing I've learned, it's that this scenario is very touchy. So I had the brake on, it wasn't all the way on, and I then had another operational error. So just being good and just waiting, because I get that it can move before the brakes are fully disengaged, but anyway, while I'm doing that, alright, so we are set to 756, so it looks like it's all automatic switches. So we'll just move along. So we've got nearly a mile, so this is a bit of the tap dancing that's occurring that's lengthier than what we've had to deal with, because we have to keep coming up here to the Miller approach, and I'm certainly understanding now at this point that this is necessary because of the errors we're getting just even when we're there, but then we go. So those tankers are what's going to drop. We're still going to leave the remainder, and I guess there's 3 of them back there. I think that's what it told me in the text, but so it's not that one, it's still further out than we can see, but we are on Miller 3, which should ring a bell, because that's what we were on when we first grabbed this consist. So I'm just really, given the length I've got here, I'm really just trying to keep myself maximized. But yeah, the inability to decouple without an operational error. The waiting is easier. I mean, you just need to do what you need to do there, and then it would work. But I was just trying to get moving on these, because it's a long way back and forth. I think I have to go one more time. I do. So I'll have to go this whole 0.8 miles back again. So I think that's the last group we left. I'm gonna speed up a bit again. Alright, so we're just at 10 o'clock. I think we started at 9:40. Might have been 9:35, I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter. It's taken as long as it's taken, and at this point, having to try it again and again, it's been a bit of a challenge, but at least we're getting the intent of the scenario. So even if I don't get the points at the end, I'll have gotten to do the work and see what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. So again, it's 3 cars. Looks like a much shorter siding, so I'm guessing it's that there. Yeah, because you can see the back of the train, so it'll start to turn, and then It's just a matter of when do I start slowing down. I think... No, this is far too early, because it's much more effective this way. Well, maybe it isn't far too early. So let me do it again. Because yeah, we've got all 3 cars on. Now again, I had pulled things back, and I may just get 1 extra car on there. So I guess it's not quite far too early. Alright, so yes, 3 cars. 1, 2, 3. Finally, the center beam cars go in siding 758, which we just passed. Alright, so now if I go back here, we can see... No, it's not giving us a visual, but... Alright, so I'm gonna, again, go at quite a good pace. Can hear revving up. See the RPMs going up. Alright, now they've capped out. Why is it showing that? Alright, looks like we've been able to pull away. So just a matter of getting the Miller approach without any errors at this point. So yeah, if someone wants a real challenge, trying to get through this scenario in one go probably would be that, given how touchy it is. Because basically every time you decouple, so at this point this was the 3rd drop we've done of some of our consist. So we've had 3 opportunities. We'll have 1 more at least. And you know, every time you stop at Miller approach, which again, if you're not in a super hurry, is less problematic. But at least 3 times plus the connection point itself, so 4 times for certain. You've got to do things perfectly according to the scenario. And again, if you try to basically start going, decouple and start at 0, and then turn the brakes off, and then try to go, in all my attempts, it continues to just automatically recouple. So I don't know if somehow the train rolls a bit. I mean, we are on a 0.2% grade, I guess. I don't know that I've seen that specifically before. But, alright, so we've got another train coming, and I just don't know if this is the timing that, if I'm on about the right timing, but this is somewhere up the line, unless the same train that went the other way, well, the locomotives would have had to change, because when it did leave a little while ago, it had a couple red flatbeds or something on the back. Again, not great at even remembering the names of the cars I do know, but certainly not in any way, shape, or form good at identifying the different car types that I might have in my train. So once again, got to get far enough to get to Miller approach, so this takes a bit of time. Again, we were talking about 10. Now we're 5 minutes later, just making the moves here. Seems like we're going a lot slower, but we're 1 mile an hour slower than we'd like to be. Alright, so now again, I'm a lot lighter, so it's possible this might be too much, so let me just do this, because I think it'll start to stop pretty quickly. So there you go. We've got the locomotive and maybe the wheels of the next car. But now we're there. I should be able to safely do that. Alright, so we've got that checked, and now we just have to get the center beam cars 758. So there is a manual switch, but it's set where we need it. Everything else looks automated. So we'll be dropping literally everything. So get ourselves moving there. Now in theory we can go 70, but obviously we're going to hit the 15 and instantly there. So that's also interesting. It's at that signal versus at the point that it shows. So there's a little bit off on the route map as well. I guess going to 50 might be a little too much. So just trying to watch the speed. But 758 is where we want to be. We're now off the main thoroughfare. I think as we go now, we don't have to go back to Miller Approach, but I think I'm going to have to get onto another route or another spot to appropriately be able to do what I need to do to get to the final point. Basically, all 4 of those cars need to be on the siding. So you would think, given, although I suppose we could be slowing down, going downhill too, just from weight, but you would think the 0.2 slope is towards us, given how relatively quickly we seem to be decelerating. So you would think then we wouldn't bounce back into the consist or something and recouple, but something is obviously causing that. So the other thing for someone trying to do this scenario, when I had the brakes, there was like a sound, like a pachink, or something, like almost the cars were shifting at one point that I did end up starting to wait for if I had to redo multiple times. And so I don't know if that is something that is necessary. Alright, I should be okay now, I would think. Yeah, we're definitely on, but we've got a lot more room here. No real reason to look above, because we're literally decoupling from this thing here. Alright, so I'm going to reverse, decouple. So there we go. Let's now move the locomotive out of the way for now. So I'm going to get myself, again, at least 50% here. So I think that's 607-ish. Just be fully disengaged. Undo the brake. And then obviously be prepared to slow down pretty quickly. Alright, I pulled off too fast, so let me try this again. So there's no point in losing points for nothing. So, yeah, there's a little bit of movement there when you're slowing down that takes a bit. Alright, so I need to go here to 769, but that means I'm coming through this way, so you can see I'm just appearing here. So I've got to come through here and then hopefully reverse. We'll see if I have to go further. It doesn't tell me I need to go to Miller Approach. I literally just have to stop over here. And so, full disclosure, I've played with this a little bit, so I know it's possible. But again, there's some definite touchy points as far as what I've tried. I've gotten myself fully on the siding, So I don't know, I guess I would say there's touchy points in every case. I have the problem that everybody has had, but I just wanted to at least show the scenario is possible to this point. It's just if anyone can figure out how to actually finish and get credit, that's something that does not seem to have been discovered by anyone that I have found with any feedback, anything that I've searched for. Alright, so we're getting close. So I'm going to try here to now stop. Alright, so the switch hasn't changed, but I'm going to go ahead and try to move, and I believe with some of these, I'm still unclear with the couple things I've tried. It appears that it kind of flips at the last minute in some cases, but this may be too close, so let's see. Alright, so yes, it has changed. So you can see, because I've done some trials where I've literally pulled all the way past Miller Approach, but we don't need to do that, it looks like. You know, because I'm assuming once we're fully clear of some of these, because yeah, instead of running me there, it's running me down that track, but it doesn't ultimately matter. Alright, so I'm past the switch point. Get this done. And then again, it hasn't switched, as you can see. Oh, now it did. Now that I have not seen before, but that's alright. That's a great thing. And I think we're literally then pulling off on that little piece there. And again, it's just two locomotives. Because yeah, one time the first time I tried it, I stopped like almost right there, and it was like I was on the siding, but yet I'm like, well, I don't know the trains could get by where I'm at. So at this point, you know, we're not fully straight, but we're where we can be. So I think we'll be good here. Well, I know we'll be good here. It's just a matter of I don't think I'm able to see. I think it dumps me to the menu right away, so I'm not able to see the checkbox. So yeah, I can't do this. Conductor, we're done. Great work, engineer. And then as you can see, even though we finished, we had 1,000 points when we closed that window, it gives us no credit. So that's the downside, but at least, you know, if you want to play it and you want to go through the work and try to at least get marked off that you've done it, it can be done. But if anyone knows how to actually get the points, I'd love to hear it. I'll see you next time.